It was a quiet Thursday in Kyneton, a modest Victorian town rich with charm and peace, but behind the doors of one home, that peace was shattered. Joe Camilleri, the beating heart of the Black Sorrows and an icon enshrined in the ARIA Hall of Fame, returned to find his sanctuary violated. 3 days away, just 3, and the unthinkable had happened. "I came home and the house was open," Camilleri said, his voice a blend of disbelief and pain. "As soon as I saw my 1954 Gibson Switchmaster missing, I realized I'd been burgled. That Switchmaster wasn't just a guitar. It was a time capsule. A relic of tone and timbre that had whispered melodies into his fingers for decades. It had witnessed the creation of songs that moved the nation. Now, it was gone, and it wasn't alone. 9 guitars. 9 pieces of his soul. Each one stolen, torn from the history books of Australian rock and roll. Among them were 2 extraordinary artifacts from the 1950s. The Switchmaster, yes, but also a 1956 Gibson L5, a jazz treasure that spoke in velvet tones. Gone too was a 1960 Gibson 330, sleek and sharp, the kind of guitar that could sing or scream depending on Joe's mood. A 1967 Gibson Les Paul Cherry Top, as iconic as it gets. And the 1975 Fender Stratocaster, a weapon of sonic war, aged to perfection. These weren't just instruments, they were friends. I pull them out and they're my best friends, Camilleri admitted, the words catching on memory and loss. But the strangeness of the scene didn't end there. The thieves didn't just want music. They wanted cutlery. They stole his bathroom products. They took a yellow wheelie bin. They even grabbed a leaf blower. It was absurd, surreal, a burglary equal parts tragedy and theater. "I couldn't work out the weirdness of it all," he said. And who could blame him? Who breaks into a rock legend's home and decides to take shampoo and a leaf blower along with priceless guitars? It wasn't his first heartbreak either. In 2017, another theft, a guitar, a saxophone, and amplifier. Taken from the back of his car. That time, fate was kinder. The gear was intercepted before being shipped overseas. But this time, Camilleri isn't so hopeful. "I'd say if the people who took them are smart enough, they'll be in a container on their way to Dubai now or somewhere like that," he sighed. It was the sigh of a man who has seen too much of this kind of loss. The violation runs deep. It's not just about property. It's about memory, about creation, about a man who has spent a lifetime weaving sound into emotion, only to have the tools of that craft ripped away in the night. Victoria Police confirmed the details. Around 10:30 p.m. on July 3, unknown offenders forced entry into the house. The burglary is under investigation. But time is critical. Each hour that passes is another hour the guitars could be in transit, disappearing into the global black market. The Black Sorrows, resilient as ever, turn to the one place that might bring these guitars home, the music community. On Facebook, they sent out the call. "These are distinct instruments and will be difficult to offload," the post read. A plea, but also a warning: these aren't anonymous guitars. These are pieces of Australian music history. Anyone trying to resell them will find themselves in a spotlight they didn't ask for. And now, it's our turn to amplify that spotlight. Because these guitars matter. They matter to Joe Camilleri. They matter to the songs they birthed. They matter to every stage they've been played on, every studio they've sung in, every fan who has ever tapped a foot or cried along to a Black Sorrows ballad. Imagine the songs those strings have carried. The riffs, the solos, the heartaches. Imagine the fingerprints worn into their necks, the sweat soaked into their wood. Imagine the echo of every note played over 40 years. This is not just a robbery. It's a cultural heist. We can't let it end here. Joe Camilleri has given this country his soul in melodies and heartbreaks, in lyrics and licks. Now he asks for something back: vigilance, awareness, a collective eye from a music family that's always prided itself on loyalty. So to pawn shop owners, guitar resellers, musicians, collectors, take a close look at every Switchmaster, every Les Paul, every vintage Strat that crosses your path. These guitars are not just gear. They are stolen memories. They have names. They have history. And to those who took them, know this: you didn't just steal from a man. You stole from music. From Australia. From everyone who ever found healing or joy in a Black Sorrows song. You can't erase that legacy. You can't pawn it. You can't play it without hearing the ghosts of stages past. Joe will keep creating. He always has. But something irreplaceable was taken that night in Kyneton. Let's bring it home. And if you know anything, even the smallest detail, a neighbor's security footage, a suspicious listing, a whisper at a gig, report it. Contact Crime Stoppers. Be part of the song that rights a wrong. Because those guitars still have music left to make.